Hey there, welcome to episode 3 of the Genre Style Guide. This is Kevin. We're going to be talking about trap music today. So trap music originated in the 90s in the southern states, mainly Atlanta and Memphis, but the modern sound that we know of today, it didn't really come about till around 2010. So trap music really came out from the 90s gangsta rap, underground hip-hop movements, and originally it really just started about the idea of trap life, right? So trap, it's kind of an Atlanta term, slang term. It's just where a place where a drug deal happens, a drug house, and it's kind of seen as a place where you're trapped. You're either going to die there, you're going to go to jail, and a lot of this early music just referenced urban social life. So some of these early players, in Atlanta we have Lil Jon, we have Memphis-based DJ Paul, and then we also have a lot of other guys, UKG, Master P, 8 Ball, and the Memphis-based group 3-6 Mafia. Go check these guys out. You can really hear how they influenced the early trap movement. So moving on into the early 2000s, this is where the trap genre begins to grow tremendously. So this wouldn't be without all of the producers, right? You have all the artists, the names you see on the CD, on the radio, but behind this is a lot of producers, right? People that you wouldn't really know the names of. So this early movement, you got Shawty Red, DJ Toom, Fat Boy, Drummer Boy, and Zaytoven. These are the guys that kind of shaped the Atlanta-based rappers, T.I., Young Jeezy, Gucci Mane. That's the big three. So T.I. kind of self-proclaims himself as one of the big movers of trap music. He even had an album in 2003 called Trap Music. There were a lot of other movers around him, though. The producers, Young Jeezy, Gucci Mane, the whole Atlanta-based rap scene really pushed this to a new level. So trap music kind of runs its course until 2010, where we get the modernized trap sound, right? Everything you know of, the 808s, the drum beat, the trap hats, all that. So this can really be credited to the producers, right? So Lex Luger, this is really where it all happened. He produced over 200 songs from 2010 to 2011 alone. People, Wiz Khalifa, Snoop Dogg, Kanye West, Waka Flocka, all these really big names, right? This is what made it mainstream. So this modernized sound, along with these producers, Lex Luger, Mike Will Made It, Metro Boomin, they expanded the genre tremendously. It boomed. It's one of the most popular ones on the radio today. You can hear it cross over in pop music, reggaeton, K-pop, all kinds of stuff. You have really mainstream artists like Ariana Grande, Beyonce, Rihanna. They're all kind of making songs in the trap music form, right? So in 2017, hip-hop became the most popular genre in the US, surpassing rock music. And trap music is probably the biggest subgenre of hip-hop. So you have people nowadays, 2 Chainz, Chief Keef, Lil Uzi Vert, 21 Savage, they're constantly in the charts. So let's talk about some of the subgenres of trap. First off, we have drill. This came out from Southside Chicago around 2012. Came out of the success of the producers Young Chop, Chief Keef, and it also has a movement in the UK. So the lyrics are really gritty. The lyrics are really gritty and the storytelling is very realistic. There is a ton of autotune and the tempo is usually a lot slower than trap. So the next one is mumble rap. This came out of the 2010s, kind of like the SoundCloud movement, and it has a lot of criticism from, big name artists like Eminem has been very vocal about it. And yeah, it's just how it sounds. The lyrics aren't very important. It's all just about the sound, the mumble. A popular song from here is Lifestyle by Rich Gang. Everyone probably has heard that one before. There are a few others around the world, but we'll just touch on Latin trap. So this is really moved away from all that Latin rap and the reggaeton, and it's a really modern mix with that trap sound from Lex Luger. So let's get on to some of the songs that shaped the genre and are also really popular today. So starting back in 1995, we have 3-6 Mafia from their first album, Live By Your Rep. And in this song you can really hear that early trap sound. You can hear their message, you can hear the style of music, and you can hear that vibe. It's a different vibe than that 90s gangsta rap. In 2003 we have T.I.'s trap music. You can start to hear the lyrics become a little bit harder, as well as the music around it. In 2007 we have Gucci Mane's My Kitchen. You can really hear how the sound has evolved, and we're almost to that level of Put On by Young Jeezy, which comes out only a year later. In 2010 we have Waka Flocka, No Hands. This is produced by Lex Luger on the Flockavelli album, and is really iconic and really shaped and moved trap to that new 2010 sound. We'll name a few more here. These necessarily didn't shape the genre, but they're just really popular and they're really trap hits, right? We have 2015 Fetty Wap's Trap Queen, 2016 Designer's Panda, which exploded. 2017 we have Migos, Lil Uzi Vert, Bad and Bougie. 2018 we have Childish Gambino's This Is America. This is a little bit more out there, right? It's not that mainstream sound. However, you can hear how wide and diverse the trap genre can be. And finally, we'll end with the 2019 hit Old Town Road by Lil Nas X. So there's not many instruments that shape the genre except for one really big one, the Roland TR-808. This is a 1980s Roland synthesizer, a drum machine. You can think of it, it's the one that's used on Sexual Healing. And yeah, it has that very boomy bass, snappy snare, very tight hi-hats. Obviously, there are many samplers used and such a range of synthesizers and samples from old records that they can't be listed. So the music writing is very straightforward. The tempo can be anywhere from 110 to 140 BPMs. You're going to have a TR-808 drum beat going on. Have the trap hats. So the trap hats are that very fast 16-note and higher hi-hat rhythm going on. You're going to have an 808 bass line, and the verses are going to be rapped, and you can even have some singing on the chorus usually. The vocals are going to have a lot of effects on them: auto-tune, chorus, flanger, and even some echo. All right, thanks for watching so far. We're going to move over to Logic Pro, show you how to make a trap track from scratch. Be sure to check out the description below. I have a ton of links, ton of resources for trap music, and we're going to put the track that we make up on SoundCloud. All right, welcome back. We're going to be learning how to make a trap beat from start to finish. A lot of people say, I'm a producer, I'm a beat maker, and this is basically what they do, right? They're writing a trap beat. And we're going to use three things, right? We need three things. The first is just going to be a riff. It could be anything. It could be a piano riff, a guitar riff, an organ riff, sample from an old vinyl, literally anything. Second, we're going to write a drum beat with a Roland 808. Roland 808. And, it's going to have the trap hats. It's going to have that snappy snare. And, yeah, it's that simple. And then third, we're just going to have an 808 bass line, which is super simple. None of this stuff is complicated. And then, yeah, you add in your rap lines and some singing, and you got your track. We're gonna also look at how to add some effects to the vocals at the end. So, yeah, let's get started. We're just going to start with adding a little piano. So this is Spitfire's Labs. It's a free software. I recommend everyone gets it. It's really good quality. As you can see, there's a ton of stuff in here. So we're just going to use the piano. Let's just hear how it sounds. You can hear like the key sound in there too. It's a really good quality, really good audio quality, and we're going to be able to manipulate this a little too, add some effects to make it sound a little more trappy, I guess. So let's just put in a line. I'm going to record something, and that's where we'll start with. As you can see, my tempo up here is 84, double that, 168, right? So it's a pretty slow tempo, and we can always change it later if we need to. All right, so we have our piano line. Let's hear it. Super simple, right? So what we can do here is we can add some effects. So maybe some reverb, just a little bit. It already has a lot on the original recording. Just a touch, that's good enough. And then another cool thing we can do is Isotope has this cool, also free plugin called Vinyl. And what it does is it emulates kind of like a record. We can change how much, noise and extra scratches there are, and yeah, let's just check it out. We can also add a lot of width and like chorus effects. Right. Right, that's all we need to do. It's really, really good sound. And the next thing that we're going to do is add our drum track. So we're going to be using the Rochlin 808. This is Rochlin software version of the drum sequencer. So as you can see, up here we can edit all the sounds, right? And down here we can build our patterns. So let's just hear how it sounds off the bat. Right, it's a cool hip-hop beat, but we want it to be a lot more busy, right? Especially with the hi-hats. So let's fill those in. Right, it's a lot closer. Another thing we can do is we can add some more flavor with the hi-hats, add some more notes, right? So let's basically double time, add some 30-second notes, 64th notes. Cool. And we'll also copy this over to our B pattern. So we can have a 2-bar loop instead of 1. And this one we'll play it as the classic hi-hat roll. Right? So with our A and B patterns going on, this is what we got. Very simple, and it gets the job done. We can also change how our drum sound up here might make the snare drum a little bit more bright, a little bit higher, and then I kind of like where everything else is at. We can add a lot more boom with our bass drum. The decay knob up, it's going to draw out a lot longer. If we have it down, it's going to be very clicky. So we'll keep it up a little bit because we're going to add the bass line to it next. So let's get adding to a bass line. You can use a lot of different synthesizers. I'm going to use a Moog. You can also use Serum. Anything with an oscillator that you can kind of pitch down a lot, it's going to be able to do this good. So there's a preset for this. It might be a little loud. Let me turn it down. It might be clipping in the recording. I'm not too sure. But basically, it's a really low sub. As you can see, it's a triangle wave right here. We have our triangle waves on. And we have it pitched down quite a bit, right? It's a very simple, a good amount of release. And we also have that punch at the beginning, right? And that's what we're looking for. And with that, we can just build a bass line. So yeah, I'll just play on with the track and see what happens. Awesome, so here's what we have so far. Right, very simple, very straightforward. Clean this up a little bit. Nice. So we're basically there. Like that. That's really it. We have piano, drums, bass. That's a trap track. We're gonna want to add a lot more to fill it in, right? So let's see what we can do here. Maybe we can do like a string section in the background. Yeah, so a cool thing maybe we could do is add, let's do a mellotron, right? So it's a pretty popular instrument, very unique. Everyone knows it as like the Strawberry Fields Forever synth with the Beatles, right? And basically we have two different sounds we can choose from, and there's violins, strings, flutes, all kinds of stuff, choirs, and we can change the tone of it depending on how fast the tape is moving. So let's just hear how we got so far. So maybe we could do a strings and a flute. We can make it sound a lot darker too with the tone. I think that'll sound pretty cool. So yeah, I'm just going to record in the chords that we played with the piano, and that'll be it. Cool, so I put on some reverb and added the vinyl effect. Let's hear it. Sweet. Once again, it's basically done. We don't need to add more. We could add, let's say, a little like electric piano up at the top. So let's see. I'll use the DX7. That one's fun. Any electric piano will work. All right, I'm gonna record something in. All right, so it's a very simple line. It's not my favorite, but it'll do the job pretty good. So let's hear it. And it's super low in the mix, right? It's super in the background. I have it panned to the right a little bit. It's not supposed to really be heard, more like felt and kind of fill up some more space. So I'm gonna go get some effects, some vocals maybe, and we'll see if we can fill this in a little bit more. Alright, cool. So I found some cool samples that fit in with our track so far. I had to pitch them up and do some time management where I sped them up a little bit. As you can see, it was 163 BPM and we're at 84 or 168 BPM. So I had to fix that up. So let's just give it a listen.
Falling deeper and deeper and deeper in love.
Yeah, so that's what we got so far. We can obviously change this up, add a chorus and some verses. All we really need to do that for the verses, keep it way more simple. We can turn down the bass line. We can keep it less busy with the piano. In the chorus, you want to bring in a lot more. You want to change up the drum beat a little bit more, add some more hi-hats. And that's really it. One last thing I wanted to show is some vocal effects. So I'm going to drop in a little phrase. Didn't really fit in with the song, but it'll be good to learn how to mess around with some trap vocals. So here's a dry sample, meaning there's no effects on it. It's just from the microphone.
They want me to go get that cash. They want me to go bring it back. They want me to break it off to them, but I ain't gonna have none of that.
So if we're recording vocals, which is a very realistic situation right here, we're gonna need to clean this up a lot, right? So maybe we want to take out all the breaths. If we listen, he breathes between every phrase, which is, it might sound cool in a mix, but for right now, it's a little too much.
They want me to go get that cash. They want me to go bring it back. They want me.
Right? All these big breaths. So what we can do is we can just easily just chop them out. It's that simple. So I think there's one right here. You can visually see them. Let's listen.
They want me to go get that cash. They want me to go bring it back. They want me to break it off to them, but I ain't gonna have none of that.
Yeah, it's that clean. We can zoom in more and make it more precise, but very simply, that's good enough. All right. Another thing we can do is add some effects, right? So this is dry, like I said, so it's just straight mic. So we can just add some very small reverb.
They want me to go get that cash. They want me to go bring it back.
If you add too much reverb, it sounds like he's like far away from the mic in a different room, right? If it's the main vocal, you want it to be up front. Any background vocals, you can add a lot more reverb to make it sit more in the mix, to blend it in. But this, we just want a very minimal amount just to make it sound like he's in an environment.
They want me to go get that cash. They want me to go bring it back.
And you really won't even hear any of that in the song, right? When it's mixed in with all the other instruments. I'm going to turn it on and off so you can hear the difference.
They want me to go get that cash. They want me to go bring it back. They want me to break it off to them, but I ain't gonna have none of that.
Right? Very simple. Some other things that we can add are a flanger. So what this does is it takes the signal and it kind of breaks it up like just barely, right? And we can obviously add more intensity and stuff. We're just going a very minimal mix right now.
They want me to go get that cash. They want me to go bring it back. They want me to break it off to them, but I ain't gonna have none of that.
So it kind of adds almost like an auto-tune kind of sound. Let's just check it out. I'll turn it off and on between phrases.
They want me to go get that cash. They want me to go bring it back. They want me to break it off to them, but I ain't gonna have none of that.
Right? It's very subtle. Here's it with the mix up.
They want me to go get that cash. They want me to go bring it back.
Right? You hear that? That's a cool sound. It's a very trap sound. A lot of people use it. Another thing you can add is a little bit of chorus. This is a very similar idea. This is going to be really low.
They want me to go get that cash. They want me to go bring it back.
Right, all the way
They
up.
want me to break it off to them, but I ain't gonna have none of that.
That's getting a little too much, right? But you can hear the effect it has. It makes the vocal sound a little bit more robotic, right? Paired with the flanger, just alone, it'll give it some more warmth usually.
They want me to go get that cash. They want me to go bring it back. They want me to break it off to them, but I ain't gonna have none of that. They want.
Right, so just those three things alone made the vocal sound just like the style, right, that you hear on the radio. That's exactly what we're looking for. One last thing I wanted to show with the vocals was an echo effect. So as you can see right here, we just have a little shout. And I put a little echo on it. So without the echo, we'll have it with the drums going on. Right? And just to have it in effect, just to kind of make it drown and fall away, fade away in the background, just add a nice little echo or a delay, whatever. It's very same, basically the same thing. I have it on quarter note. I don't want it to be too much. If you have a delay, you can have it where, you know, the right and left do different note durations. And then, yeah, I have the feedback pretty high. So let's hear how that sounds. So if there's a rap line going on right there, it'll blend in pretty good. And you won't hear the last like 5 times, right? It'll be so soft, it'll be drowned out by everything else. Awesome. So that's really all you need. You don't need to add more, right? We don't have to make the mix more busy than it needs to be. The less you use, the better. And the more you can do with that, it'll be a really cool track, right? We're not using a ton of chords. We're only using 4, and we're repeating it. You can use 2, right? As long as you have a little bit of movement, you're good to go. And then from there, just have a good beat, and then your rapper and your singer will have a great time. And then from there, you're just arranging, right? You might want to add a little stop with the drums. That's always a cool thing. Stop the drums for a beat. Maybe add some more effects like sweeps or noise or some weird percussion. I went back and added some toms, just a few, just 1 or 2 to our drum beat. And then that's it. You have your trap track. You can make it as hard, as loud, as busy as you need. One thing I forgot to mention on the 808, you can add some distortion. That's pretty common. And with your vocals, you can really go crazy with the effects, especially on the background vocals. Don't be afraid to use some crazy synth sounds. It's totally fine. And yeah, all this works well with the genre. So I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to support. Go check out the description below and have a great time.